So, meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren, da wir sehr wenig Zeit haben, fangen wir gleich an. Zunächst mal herzlich willkommen zum ersten Stadtgespräch über die Zukunft von Beirut mit Herrn Rawi Hage. Ich würde sehr gerne mit zwei Zitaten beginnen. Eins ist von einem libanesischen Schriftsteller, Rabi al-Hamedin. Al-Hamedin. Okay. So. Er sagt Folgendes: Beirut ist die Elisabeth Taylor der Städte, wahnsinnig, schön, abgetakelt, verfallend, alternd und ständig voller Drama. Beirut ist jene Frau, die auf einem Felsen sitzt und sich wie die Sonnenblume von einer ihr fremden Kraft lenken lässt. Liebhaber und Feinde zieht sie gleichermaßen mit in einem blinden Reigen, gibt sich hin und verwehrt sich, gibt sich nicht hin und verwehrt sich nicht. Wenn immer irgendwie über Beirut geredet worden ist, begannen sie nicht nur zu schwärmen, sie übertrieben in einer Weise, wo alle haben, das kann nur Paradies sein. Ja. Und in der ganzen arabischen Welt fand ich das immer wieder, in Kairo war das immer wieder, ist Beirut, die schöne Stadt, die spannende Stadt, die aufregende Stadt und so weiter. Ich würde ganz gerne etwas wissen von Ihnen. Was für ein Secret existiert in Beirut, das so eine Faszination von dieser Stadt ausgeht?
I don't know if there's a secret. There's Beirut. It's more than a secret. It's playing. It was constantly playing these roles in the region. And for the Arab world, I agree with the description of Mahmoud. There's always this fascination towards Beirut, and a sort of repulsion. And the repulsion mostly came from I guess from Arabic government. It is like having a beautiful wife who you're proud of, etc. But at the same time, you're threatened by her beauty. Beirut, what represent in the Arab world is mostly, beside the landscape, of course, and that freedom, the cliche of being at the same time European city and an Arabic city, an Ottoman city, all this syncretic kind of existence. What it presented, I think, for the Arab intellectual is mostly a refuge. This cultural renaissance was also a product of an influx of many exiles from the Arab world and intellectuals. So in a sense, yes, Beirut takes credit for its contribution to the Arab world, but also Beirut has to be just and acknowledge that there was a community of many exiles, of artists, intellectuals, people who were persecuted by the surrounding regime, who came to Beirut and contributed to that. But what Beirut provided is, a certain freedom that allows it. We did have a big civil war, of course, but we never had crushing dictatorships like Syria or Iraq or Jordan. But now this liberty is coming from something else. It's coming from not democratic values as much as a chaos. It's within this chaos that people finding these liberties and total laissez-faire. I believe once this chaos stops, the fear is that Lebanon could become more or disregard this little democracy or pseudo-democracy and end up with some kind of, more of a dictatorship. There is a possibility. There's always a possibility. You hear people who want dictatorship. They want a militaristic rule because they're sick of the chaos. There's no electricity, there's no water, the government has failed. We end up with a kleptocracy mixed with theocracy and a pseudo-democratic oligarchy, and that's what Beirut is at the moment. So what's the future? I'm not sure what's the future. It's something very alarming. But looking at the demonstrations that are taking place right now, there's something also very hopeful. There's a whole new generation who are demanding, who are, making the rulers accountable. And Beirut or Lebanon came to a point where nothing is functioning anymore, and the people realize that they're being played for the last 30 years. The problem with Beirut is is how to find a physical place and a secular place to meet.
Das Positive ist nochmal zu sagen, jedenfalls das, was in unseren Köpfen als Fremde, die das immer wieder in irgendeiner Weise als Stadt wahrgenommen, war ja immer, mein Gott, in dieser Stadt leben, in der Nachbarschaft sind Quartiere, da sind die Christen, das sind die Moslems, das sind also unterschiedliche Ethnien und so weiter und so weiter. Und die würden sowas von harmonisch miteinander leben, das ist ja fast geradezu ein wunderbares urbanes Konzept, fast für viele mögliche Städte, die ähnlich konstituiert sind. Und insofern haben wir eigentlich immer dieses positive Bild von Libanon mitbekommen.
I thought I'm the only secular Lebanese that exists. Maybe there was 3 other for a long time. But now I go and I see there's 100,000 people who think like me, who want civil marriage, who are aware of these divisions, who are they want a different Lebanon, who are fed up with this feudal, like I said, feudal theocratic, pseudo-democratic system, and they made them blink. They made the political Strasse blink. But it's too late. There's no money anymore. There's no money. They stole the money and they don't want to give it back. I suspect the government and I suspect it's bankrupt. I think there's no money to take out the garbage. For the last 30 years, one minister after the other came and promised 24 hours electricity, and none of them delivered. None of them. None of the parties. They all were there, and none of the parties. For a country like Lebanon, a touristic place that prides itself on, this democracy, great place to be. It is an exciting place to be. It's still, in spite of everything, it's a major tourist attraction. And anybody in the Arab world who's a bit marginalized and doesn't want to go to Europe would come to Lebanon. There's 4 or 5 gay clubs in Lebanon, and they're tolerated, which is unbelievable for a place like the thing that people say on TV, even the politician. The way they treat each other, the way how vocal they are, it's very impressive. It's very impressive. There is certain freedom that I think that should be preserved, and I think these new generation, I think they're worried about that and trying to do that because it could not be sustained anymore. This sectarian divide cannot be sustained. I'm kind of hopeful. I'm kind of hopeful, and even the taxi driver now he's talking about the environment. Yeah, I guess there are tension. It's inevitable. Lebanon has 3 million, out of 3 million, 500,000 Palestinian refugees, and now you have 500,000 and a half. So you can imagine it's like bringing, what is Germany, 55 million? 85 million. Sorry. I didn't know you guys are so fertile. It's like bringing 30 million all of a sudden. Yeah. So there is, and part of the crisis is because the 1.5 million needs more water, electricity, etc. that the government also is not able to provide. They're here. What's the future? We don't know. Of course, there are incidents of conflicts and a bit of discrimination here and there. I don't know to what extent. I don't know how to answer that question. We don't know. The Syrians don't know who are there. The Lebanese don't know what's going to happen. And the Lebanese, they're also, the country is getting impoverished. It is becoming more and more of a real third country with all the problems of third country. Even during the war, it's pretty safe. It was a pretty safe place. But now, I guess, because of the poverty, there's more and more crime, petty crime. I don't know. Maybe it will become soon gated cities. I don't know. But one thing for sure, I mean, the distance or between rich and poor is growing. The middle class is leaving. Major changes.
Aber ich darf noch etwas zitieren als eine Art Hoffnung letztendlich. Jane Jacobs, Architekturtheoretikerin und Stadtkritikerin, hat mal gesagt, es stimmt zwar, dass Städte generell die Saat ihrer eigenen Zerstörung in sich tragen, aber es stimmt auch, dass lebhafte, vitale und kreative Städte, zu denen gehört, glaube ich, Beirut, die Saat der Regeneration tragen mit ausreichend Energie, die Herausforderungen der Gesellschaft über die Stadtgrenzen hinaus zu überwältigen. Ich glaube, das könnte durchaus für Beirut zutreffen.